Welcome back. Welcome back. My name is Abby Ritchie. I am here to teach you today. If you were just with me a minute ago, you know I had a Zoom snafu. I had to log out, come back in to make sure I could share my screen with you. But you know what? I'm so thrilled that you're here. You're staying with me. I'm thrilled that you're joining me today. And if you missed it because you just logged in, I wanted to say thank you. Thank you for submitting your questions. Thank you for telling me what you need more of. And thank you for letting me know that you're watching, because sometimes I think I'm here all alone. But I know that you're watching, you sending your questions, your comments, and I love that. And I love being in the presence of lifelong learners. Now, if this is your first time joining me, I want to say welcome and introduce myself. My name is Abby Ritchie. I am the founder of Senior Savvy. And what Senior Savvy does is teaches older adults the tech skills they need to excel in today's world. We do this by teaching you through tech basic workshops, similar to this, except we go into detail in those workshops. And we do those on Zoom. Sometimes we do them in person in your community. We also do a tech concierge service where we could help you personally, one-on-one. And if you need private sessions, we could do that too. We love helping older adults, and we do this across the country at many touchdown communities. All right, now you know about me. Next, I want to tell you what we're going to talk about today. But first, I'm going to go ahead and share my screen with you because I think that might be the best way to kick this off. All right, let me go ahead and share my screen. And here we go. So today, we're going to talk about what I consider to be your next BFF. That's right, your next BFF. The digital assistant. And I'm going to explain why I consider this device, this piece of technology, so invaluable, and why you want to start developing a relationship with this piece of tech today. You see, as we age, we lose dexterity in our fingers, right? We've got arthritis. It gets harder and harder for us to text away and to use our devices. We also lose our eyesight. And it's harder and harder to see the little things that are on our screen, right? So if you're able to start using your voice to do the simple tasks that you're doing on your devices, whether it's writing an email, sending a text message, or asking about the weather, and you start to do those now while you can still see pretty well, and while you can still use most of your fingers, it's going to help you so much more in the years to come. And that's why we're going to talk about the digital assistant today. Now, you may have gotten one of these array of digital assistants as a gift from one of your well-meaning children, no doubt. And I'm going to talk about why they want you to have this today, okay? So, but first, if you're just joining us right now, I just want to say hello, this is me. I'm the founder of Senior Savvy. My name is Abby. If you have any questions during today's live stream webinar, I want you to go ahead and reach out to me. You can text me. I got my phone right here. I'm looking to see a couple of you have been sending in questions. You can also email me the old-fashioned way, and I'll be keeping my eye out for that as well right here. Okay, so if you have any questions, please let me know. I'll address them either in real time or towards the end. Now, can you answer yes to any of these questions? Let me know. Do you have an Alexa? I'm not going to say her name too loud because you know what? She's going to hear me. She's going to want me to start asking her questions, right? Was it given to you? Is it still in the box? Do you want to use this assistant more and figure out what to do with it? Well, good. you are in the right place, because that's exactly what we're going to talk about today. Now, I want you to know that this is just a webinar. This is not a whole workshop. You see, in our workshops, we get detailed. We don't get techie, but we get detailed, because I want to make sure you understand the technology. You understand how to use it. You understand how to put it into action so that it makes sense for you. So today we're going to talk about how you can make it work, and many of them use what's called skills. We're going to talk about the various popular ones, what I call the popular gals. You know who they are: Alexa, Siri, Google. And we're going to talk about how you can integrate them into your life today. Again, though, we're not going to get too detailed. We do that in our workshops. This is just kind of the tip of the iceberg. So let's first talk about what can they do. Now, the large majority of people use them to play music, use them to listen to podcasts. I love asking my digital assistant, I'm not going to name her name, to play my favorite podcast for me. I love being able to ask her or him to set an alarm. Now, I know when I get my hair done, my hairstylist says, set a 10-minute alarm. And that's so handy to be able to do because it's hands-free, right? A lot of people like to receive updates, whether they're traffic, news, or weather updates. Many of my students like to use their digital assistant to control other appliances. Here's how that works. Let's say you've got a smart plug, okay? And that smart plug is smart because when you plug it in and then you plug your lamp into it, you can use your voice to turn on and off the lamp. Cool, right? You can also use it to communicate with other people in your home and shop or compare prices. But what I like to encourage people to do, especially when you're first starting to get to know your new BFF, is to start simple, start basic. And one of the most basic things you can do is ask about the weather. The reason I want you to start small and start basic is because this digital assistant is listening for the way you say things. You don't have to say them robotic. You don't have to say them slow or fast or whatever. Say it the way you normally say it. And when you ask for these routine, basic requests, it's like your BFF is starting to gather up your vocal quality. So the more you talk to it, the more it understands you. It's like a relationship that you are investing in. So you want to ask it weather updates. You want to ask it to put something on your calendar for you. You want to ask it to set that reminder. I love that because when you think of something, for instance, like remind me to take Advil in 2 hours, or remind me to grab my phone before I leave, remind me to take a check before I leave, that kind of thing. It happens in your mind, and then when you have to go do the extra step, sometimes that's when we forget. But if you can say it out loud, it's almost like it's done, right? And if you can ask the digital assistant to help you with it, that's almost foolproof. You can also ask the digital assistant to make lists for you. And I love this because, golly, you know what? I am always making lists. And my life just runs by lists. I got to tell you that. I will forget if I don't write it down. And so there are times where I don't have a pen, but I can say it out loud. I can say, hey, lady, again, I'm not going to say your name, put milk on my list. Put cans of tuna on my list. And this way it gets recorded in the right place. Now, I want to break down the various digital assistants for you. And I want to talk about them and how they kind of differ and which one you may want to use. So overall, there's pretty much three. There's three in the middle. There's Apple's device, Google's assistant, and Amazon's device. Those three in the middle, they happen to be the most popular, right? You may already have one of those devices in your home. If you have an Apple Watch, you've got Apple's digital assistant right here. In fact, my dad will just press the button and talk into it. I think that's so futuristic, but it works for him. So first, let's talk about Apple's. Okay, so Apple's is called Siri. You know that. I'm not going to say it loud though. And this voice-controlled personal assistant, it could be a she or he. Last couple of years, they allowed you to change the vocal quality so you can have it in a male voice or female with an accent, without an accent. And it has improved so much over the years, significantly. And what's really special about it is that it can go from here to your computer, and it's all encompassing your one account, okay? So you can use this one for everyday tasks. You can ask this one, what does my day look like? You can ask this one to remind you to pick up your dry cleaning. You can ask it to do math for you. You can even ask it to read reviews, or what were the score of the game last night. And you can even ask it to do searches for you in Safari. Now, if you're a big Apple user, I just say stick with this, all right? You already have the device at hand. Work with it. It's right in your hands, right? Now, here's the other one that's very, very popular. And chances are you probably have one of these hockey puck size digital assistants in your home right now. About 53 million adults own one of these. So let's talk about this one. This one has what's called skills, okay? It has skills, and you get these skills from the app, or you get it from the Amazon website. And you set this up in the app, and you add in new skills. And when you do the skills, it helps this one personalize your experience. So if you like to play trivia, if you like to listen to audiobooks, if you like to listen to a lot of sports, for instance, this one will help you find the right skills and games that are going to help personalize your vocal digital assistant experience. Now, if you want this handout, okay, I have it for you. And all you have to do is go ahead and email me for it, and I will send this to you, because I love to equip you with handouts that you can follow so that you can be independent and take this to the next step. We teach this in our workshops, and we go into detail. And I know we just have a short bit of time here today, but I want you to email me if you want a copy of this so that you can start adding more skills to your dot. Now, this one comes in many shapes and sizes, and I love the one with the screen on it because you can do video calls. You can also see what you're asking for. So if you're asking for a 10-day weather forecast, you can see that. If you're asking for a recipe, you can see that as well. Okay, now I'm going to move on to this one. Okay, the Google Assistant. The Google Assistant, I gotta tell you, it's so sophisticated. It's so detailed. And here's why. You know how when you want to go search for something online, what do you use? Google, right? Google is the #1 search engine. So if Google is the #1 search engine, then the ability for this digital assistant to help you is also going to be #1 because of its artificial intelligence data. That's right. So for a long time, I used this one almost exclusively because I wanted to get to know it and to see how it differed from the other ones. And I got to tell you, this one really has some very sophisticated search abilities. Now, the Google Assistant can really help you manage tasks. So if you want it to help you add things to your shopping list, set an alarm, for instance, timers, you can do that. Now, if you have any questions right now, I want you to reach out to me. There's my phone number. There's my email address. Go ahead and submit a question. I'm keeping my eye on my phone right here. So if something comes up while you're watching this, just submit a question to me and I'll be sure to take a look and answer your question. So one of the really neat things about these digital assistants is how they integrate with your life, with the life you already have with your devices. Okay, so now I want to talk about integration. How do you start using it? How do you start putting it to work for you? So the first thing I say is to go with what you know. So what that means is if you're using a Google Pixel phone or Android devices, I want you to go with the Google Assistant. It's all going to be in the same family. And it will be so much easier for you to start using that device. However, if you are using an Apple Watch, an iPhone, and Apple devices, go with Siri, go with what you know. I also always recommend that you start small. When you're starting to integrate this digital assistant into your life, start small. Start with calls, start with texts. This way, the digital assistant gets to know you on the simple things. And little by little, you'll begin to build on your skills. So for instance, you can, like I mentioned earlier, ask it to turn on and off the lights. I love that aspect by using a smart plug, and you all should have one of those. They're about $20 on Amazon. And this way, when you get up in the middle of the night, you just have to ask, Alexa, turn on the lights. You can also ask it to put on a playlist. You can ask it to turn on the TV. So really, you could begin to build on your skills, making it more and more specific to your needs. Okay, I want to, at this point, see if you're still tracking with me. Where are you? Are you still tracking with me? Give me a thumbs up if you're here right now, you're tracking with me, or go ahead and send me a text message. Just give me a good old thumbs up and let me know that you're learning, all right? Because right now, you know what? We're almost out of time. And what I want to do is I want to save time for your questions. Before I do that, though, I want to offer you this handout. So if you want help setting up your Alexa, adding skills to it to make it work for you, I want you to email me. And you can go ahead and email me. I'll get this out to you right away. And I want to keep this going with you. I want to keep this going. I want to keep teaching you. I want to bring our tech workshops to your community weekly. I want to be able to help you and your neighbors by offering our tech concierge service. And if you need one-on-one sessions, you can reach out to us as well. Now, I bet you're probably wondering, well, how do I do that? It's just little old me. And this is how you do that. If you want these workshops, what I want you to do is let your executive director know, I want the senior savvy workshops. I want the senior savvy workshops, okay? I want you to tell your executive director today that you want to start having these on a weekly basis because you want to learn. You want to be confident. You want to be empowered to start using your technology your way. And I want you to tell your engaged life director that you want to put this on your calendar. See, we teach these workshops at communities across the country. They're 1 hour long. We always allow for about 20 minutes of Q&A at the end of every workshop so that you can get your question answered. So if you reach out to me today and you schedule a session, which I hope you do. I love helping older adults with their technology. I'm going to give you 20% off your first session. That's right. There's my phone number. There is my email address. Please go ahead and reach out and let's continue to build on your technology skills. So what I'm going to do right now is I'm going to stop the screen share and I'm going to answer some of your questions. Let me peek down for just a minute. And while I'm doing that, I'm going to leave this screen up and I'm going to peek at the questions. Okay. All right, I have one question from North Hill. It says, I don't know which one I should use. I have an Alexa. I have one of those Alexa dots. Should I use that? Or should I use Siri? Okay, that is a really good question. Thank you for asking that. That was from North Hill. So I want to encourage you to use the one you already know how to use, okay? And use the one you're going to be with mostly. Here's what that means. If you're out and about and you're going to have this with you, your iPhone with you mostly, then I want you to stick with the iPhone digital assistant, okay? Because you're going to have it with you. And that one is going to be able to build on a relationship based on the things that you ask that one. It doesn't mean that the other one, Alexa, isn't any good. It's just that this one is with you all the time, right? So use the one you're going to have with you most often. This way you're going to have the most amount of success asking your requests. Okay, good question. All right, I have another question from Merrill Gardens. Okay, Merrill Gardens. And you want to know what you do in the car because there's a voice in the car and you also have your iPhone in the car. Which one should you use? This is a really good question, and I've helped several of my clients with this as well. So if you are successful using the one on your phone, if you're successful asking her to call your daughter while you're in your car, I say stick with her. This is the iPhone one. She's very responsive. I don't want to say her name out loud. So when you get in your car, if you want to call your daughter, you can say, hey, call my daughter. And because it gets hooked up via Bluetooth, this one right here is going to call your daughter. Now, a lot of the systems in the cars, they're okay, but they're not as good as this one because this one is with you all the time in and out of the car. And this one knows you better. Okay, so when you're in your car, use the one that knows you better. Maybe it's this one. Maybe it's your Google Assistant. Whichever one that travels with you and goes with you is with you more often, use that one. Okay, let's see. I have another question from Clark Community. Okay, oh, here we go. So what if I like Google Assistant better than Siri? Can I use the Google Assistant instead? You know, this is a great, what happened? There you go. This is a great question. So they're asking from Clark, if it's okay, if you have an iPhone, can you use the Google Assistant instead? And the question is, and the answer is, yes, you can. And I will tell you for many years, I think I told you this, for many years, I used the Google Assistant exclusively on my iPhone. And here's how you do that. And the reason I started to do that, well, I wanted to try it out I wanted to see what it was like. But I also got really annoyed with Siri for several years, very, very, very annoyed with her that I deleted the app from my phone. But if you go to your app store, okay, you can type in Google Assistant and you can download it. There is a Google Assistant for the iPhone, a Google Assistant for the iPhone, and you can use that one instead of the one that came with your phone. Yeah, I like it. I liked it a lot. It was a lot less intrusive for me and more spot on with my requests. Great question, Clark community. Okay, I have another one, and this is from Meryl. Oh, Meryl Gardens again. Thank you. Good job, Meryl Gardens. A+ to you. You guys get the award for submitting the most amount of questions. Well done. I can't wait to start working with you every single week. I love that. Okay, Meryl Gardens. My voice is bad. My voice is bad. And the digital assistant doesn't hear me right. Oh, that's kind of a toughie. And you know what? I've worked with some clients of mine who are early Parkinson's. And yes, it is hard for the digital assistant to pick up certain things that you ask it to do, especially when your vocal quality really has decreased a lot. It's one of the reasons why I want to plead with you to start using it before that happens, before your vocal quality decreases, before your eyesight diminishes and your ability to use your fingers diminishes as well or decreases as well. But when your voice is bad or when your vocal quality is not spot on or clear, you're going to start very, very small. And when you go through the first and second round of initiating the voice in Siri, for instance, you're going to speak normally. You're not going to speak too slow or too fast. You're just going to speak normally. You may have to reset it. And so it gets used to you. And then you're going to start small. Like I said, start small. Ask for very basic things. What is the weather today? What was the Clippers score? What's on my calendar? Very basic things. 3-word sentences. That's it. Hey, I am here to help you. I would love to help you get familiar with your new BFF. I want you to reach out to me today. Ask any question anytime. I'm going to be back here with you tomorrow. We're going to talk about your new laptop. I can't wait to talk about that. And I'll see you back here. You guys are awesome. Keep learning. Keep stretching. All right. And keep up the good work. I'll see you back here tomorrow.